Did Pi Network's code always plan for a $314,159 price per coin? Or is this the biggest scam in crypto history? Right now there's a massive war happening in the Pi community that could determine whether your Pi holdings are worth millions or absolutely nothing. A prominent pioneer just exposed shocking evidence that the entire $314,159 GCV theory is complete manipulation, while others are betting their life savings on this astronomical price. I'm about to reveal the smoking gun proof that will blow your mind and show you exactly who's lying to you in our community. Stay until the end, because what I'm going to show you in the last 2 minutes will completely change how you view your Pi investment forever. But first, you know what? If you want the real insider information that these GCV ambassadors don't want you to see, join my Telegram and Facebook communities right now. Links are in the description below. I'm not here to sell you dreams or courses like these other channels. While Pi Network searches are crashing everywhere and people are losing hope, I'm building a community where we cut through the lies and share the brutal truth. This is where I drop explosive evidence and uncensored analysis that could save you from financial disaster or help you make the right moves at the perfect time. Here's what's really grinding my gears about this whole GCV situation. We've got these self-proclaimed ambassadors running around telling people that Pi was always meant to be worth $314,159, pointing to some GitHub code like it's holy scripture. Now, I'm not a developer, but I know enough about coding to understand that just because someone puts code on GitHub doesn't make it official or legitimate. What really bothers me is how they're preying on people's hopes and dreams. You know what changed my perspective completely? When Mr. Spock decided to fight fire with fire and created his own custom code to prove how easy it is to manipulate these repositories. This guy literally showed everyone that anyone can create impressive-looking code and claim it's part of Pi's infrastructure. I respect the hell out of him for doing this because it exposed how these GCV promoters are using technical jargon to confuse people who don't understand coding. Let me tell you something that's going to hurt but needs to be said. While people are fantasizing about $314,159, Pi has dropped 18.8% in the last month and hit an all-time low of 33 cents. I'm watching the charts every day and it's painful to see. As I'm recording this, we're sitting at around 37 cents, and that's the reality we need to face. What really gets me angry is Mr. Spock's observation about GCV believers not buying Pi at current prices because they think they're already rich with their small holdings. You know what this tells me? These people don't actually believe in Pi's technology or future, they just want a lottery ticket. If you truly believe Pi was revolutionary, wouldn't you be accumulating more at these low prices? I know I would be if I had extra money to invest. Here's what I find both fascinating and concerning about this movement. The GCV community has massive support across developing countries like Vietnam, Thailand, India, and the Philippines. I genuinely believe these people have good intentions and want to see Pi succeed, but good intentions don't create real economic value, and that's where I think they're misguided. When GCV ambassador Demas Nawawi talks about financial institutions implementing banking contracts with GCV values, I have to ask, which institutions? Where are the partnerships? I've been following Pi for years and I haven't seen any major financial institution even acknowledge Pi's existence, let alone agree to honor some community-created valuation. This kind of talk without concrete evidence makes me skeptical of their entire movement. I'm going to give it to you straight because someone needs to. Mr. Spock's point about Pi potentially taking 20+ years to reach $314,159 is probably optimistic. With millions of Pi being unlocked daily and no real utility driving demand, I don't see how we get there anytime soon. I'm not trying to be negative, I'm trying to be realistic about market dynamics. What really convinced me that GCV is problematic is seeing how Pi Core team-approved exchanges and dApps only recognize market prices. If the actual Pi Core team isn't endorsing GCV, why should we? These are the people who built the network, and they're clearly comfortable with market-driven pricing. That tells me everything I need to know about the legitimacy of community-created valuations. Look, I'm not here to crush your dreams, but I am here to help you make smarter decisions. If you truly believe in Pi's long-term potential like I do, then the best way to support it is by engaging with it at real market prices. Waiting for some magical event that sends Pi skyrocketing overnight is risky and, honestly, unrealistic. In the crypto world, most overnight success stories you hear about are the result of years of steady development and patience that happened behind the scenes. I've learned from watching countless other crypto projects that real adoption doesn't happen because of sudden price explosions. It happens because the ecosystem grows, use cases expand, and more people start to integrate it into their daily lives. These changes aren't always flashy or headline-grabbing, but they're the building blocks of sustainable growth. If you're only in it for the hype moments, you'll likely miss the real opportunities that happen quietly along the way. That's why my focus isn't on guessing the next big pump. It's on understanding where Pi will be in 5 years, not 5 days. Every transaction, every dApp launch, every new user in the network is a step toward long-term value. By supporting Pi now, during its building phase, you're setting yourself up for the long-term rewards that come when the groundwork finally pays off. This stage is where the real value is created, through development, testing, and slow but steady adoption. The real win isn't about jumping on after the headlines start rolling in. It's about being early, patient, and consistent while others are distracted or doubtful. History has shown that in crypto, those who quietly accumulate and engage during the quiet phase often reap the biggest benefits once the project matures and gains mainstream traction. My personal approach reflects this mindset. I treat Pi like any other speculative investment. I only commit what I can comfortably afford to lose, and I don't let hype convince me it will make me rich overnight. This keeps my expectations realistic and my decisions grounded. I focus on understanding the fundamentals, watching the ecosystem grow, and staying engaged without overexposing myself financially. That way, if Pi delivers on its potential, I'm well positioned to benefit. And if it doesn't, I've managed my risk responsibly. You know, the people pushing GCV are essentially asking you to bet your financial future on their interpretation of some GitHub code. That's not investment advice. That's gambling with extra steps. You know what bothers me most about this whole situation? We're fighting each other instead of building something real. The GCV supporters have passion, the critics have logic, but we're all supposed to be on the same team here. I think the truth is that Pi has potential, but it's going to take time, real development, and actual use cases, not community-declared price points. Here's what I want from you. Tell me in the comments what you really think about this GCV situation. Are you holding out for $314,159, or are you being realistic about Pi's current state? You know, I read every comment and I genuinely want to understand where my audience stands on this. If this video helped you see through some of the noise in our community, hit that like button and subscribe for more honest Pi network coverage. And seriously, check out my Telegram and Facebook links below. That's where we have real conversations without the hype and manipulation. I'll see you in the next video where we'll talk about what Pi actually needs to succeed in the real world.